right. Hello, wine drinking people. It's Wednesday, Cinco de Mayo, May 5th. That's right, we're getting ready to party tonight at Cafe Max with our Kermit Lynch Italian wine tasting. But first, what I've got to sell you today. Today we've got a great deal on some of Antinori's top wines. Piero Antinori is one of the leaders in Italian wine. His family has been making wine for over 600 years in Italy, and his first creation was Tignanello in the 70s. They kind of brought him to fame. When Antinori first applied for the OCG status for this wine, it was originally denied. He applied for it as a Chianti Classico. At that time, you had to add white grapes into your Chianti. You had to use only traditional varietals, and Antinori said, look, I am not going to put white grapes in my red grapes to make Chianti. I want to use some international varietals like Cabernet Sauvignon. They said, no, 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 Mr. Antinori. So he said, well, I am just going to call this wine Tignanello, the name of the vineyard, and the rest is history. The super Tuscan craze was created. Antinori now has wineries on all corners of the Italian peninsula, and it's amazing the quantity he produces and at the quality level that he makes all of his wines. His entry-level wines all the way up to his top collectibles, which Antinori does produce some of the most sought-after collectible wines in Italy, as well as some of the best choices for everyday drinking. The two wines that we're going to highlight on the top of this email are the two wines that I felt were the best quality and two wines that we have a really good price on. The Pian del Vin Brunello from the 2004 vintage. I know you guys have heard me talk about 2004. This is a classic vintage in Tuscany, especially for Montalcino. We're just starting to see some of the 2004 Reservas coming in right now. They are outstanding. We did show this wine at our Brunello tasting a week and a half ago. I love the lovely porcini mushroom note in this nose. You get this lovely cherry and wild strawberry fruit, lots of fresh herbs and dried earth, little sausage and meaty notes, very complex, very rich, and lovely freshness on the finish. This wine is going to continue to improve in your cellar for up 10 to 15 years or more. And then we have one of Antinori's top wines from his Bulgari property, the Guado al Tasso, where the Badger crosses the road. This wine is a unique blend, Cabernet Sauvignon, Merlot, and Syrah, so kind of a Bordeaux-style blend with a little Syrah thrown in there. And this is one of the top wines coming from Bulgari today. This wine is killer. The 2006 vintage, I know I've mentioned that to you guys before, as good as 2004, if not better. Also a classic style vintage. This wine is still a baby, has a beautiful nose of fresh flowers, black earth, dark spices, toasty oak, chocolate, truffles, very intoxicating, very complex, very rich, a big wine on the palate, big and chewy, lots of everything, a real blockbuster, all of those nuances in the nose echoing through the finish. This wine needs some time, but it is going to reward you if you put it in your cellar for 10 years or more. The Guado al Tasso 2006, again, both of these wines we have got one of the best prices in the country on. And the rest of the wines from Antinori we've got on this offer will follow the history of Antinori, which is kind of fascinating. Like I said, his family has been making wine for 600 years, but it really wasn't until the last 20 or 30 years that Italian wines really started to make leaps and bounds in quality. As I mentioned, 1971 was the first vintage for Tignanello, and then you had a lot of other people kind of follow suit, start making wine just to focus on the quality of the wine as opposed to adhering to all these DOCG laws tightly. Okay, well, check the rest of the stuff that we've got from Antinori out on today's email. I'm your host, Andrew Lampasone, for the Wine Watch, signing off, saying remember, always drink the good stuff first.